The views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the league or their administration. Listen at your own risk. No offense intended.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, Rat Bastard. No. Freight Train Shane. What's up? It's Freight Train. I guess we're going to react to the content put out by OG and Noop. Hey guys, good show. Appreciate you. Maybe it's time we clear the air. Okay? It's not personal. Let's talk about some shit. So if we're going to bring it up, let's bring it up. Okay? So, but before we get into some of it, let's do a little help first. All right? So Noop.
I really haven't dug into the game. There's a lot of things they've added to the game. Like I still don't know how to sit my starters for practice yet. I still don't know how to scout goddamn players for the draft yet.
All right, so you're the commissioner. So generally, I usually think commissioners dive into the game to figure things out. But I figure I'll help you out here. And don't take this personal. This is me trying to help. Okay? So if you're having a problem with fatigue and you want to sit people, you're going to go into the weekly strategy. And you'll go over here to the player health. All right. So player health, you've got an option. You've got practice intensity, full pads or half pads. Full pads obviously is going to be more fatigue imposed on your players. Half pads is obviously not going to be as bad. Then you have a choice to either use your starters, split the reps between the starters and the backups, or just run your backups. Now, this does a couple different things. You'll notice back over here where you've got your game plan focus. Who you practice with gets bigger boosts with your game plan focus. So if your starters are running the practice, your starters are going to get a bigger boost. If you split the reps, the boost is going to be a little bit smaller. And if you use your backups, your starters aren't really going to get any boost from the practice, okay? But it does impact your fatigue. The other thing that OG mentioned was he noticed that the fatigue wasn't happening as much if he wins games. So that's a little bit wrong, but what you should know, if you don't already, and excuse the cough, got allergies. So, on the fatigue, the longer you get into the season, the worse the fatigue is. So in the first few weeks of the season, your guys' legs are fresh from a whole off season off and whatnot. The fatigue isn't going to impact them as much as it does later on in the year. So if you're doing full practice in week 14, it's going to cause a much bigger impact to your players than if you do full pads in week 3 or week 5. All right, the longer the season goes, the more impact it is. So you got to start managing it between full pads, half pads, your starters, who you're going to split and whatnot. And obviously, who you run in practice, they're more likely to get injuries. So you can get practice injuries. Now, one thing that you should know that a lot of people seem to miss is these green bars. I can't point to it, but it's the green bars underneath each player. So that's actually their fatigue bar, but the fatigue bar is always green. It will never change colors. So I actually reached out to EA because I've got a pretty good relationship with them because, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But I reached out to them and said, hey, the fatigue bars are always green. But if you read this player's thing here, it actually says it's going to impact, he's fatigued, it's going to impact his game, but his bar is green. But it's at about 75% level. So Swami replied back, hey, you know what, that doesn't change color. I gave them the feedback that in the future, they might want to consider changing the color of the fatigue bar to orange, red, yellow, and green, just like it does with the overall and things like that, because it's kind of misleading. But the interface is just all green. All right, so if you see a green bar, that doesn't mean that he's in good fatigue. It will always be green, even if it's a 10% level. It will always be green. So you need to be aware of that. All right, you got to look at the little missing bar on your players, and you can't see much here because it's early in the season. But the part that's missing is the one that matters. And then you can actually click on the player on your roster. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom in here, but staff. If you go into your player here, just pick a player. You go over to their health. You'll see here the top player fatigue level is good. It will not impact game day performance. As his fatigue goes down, it might say slight fatigued and will have a partial impact, or is fatigued and will have an impact during the game. So that's how you tell how your players are fatigued and how to manage that throughout the game. You're going to rotate between full pads with your starters to split reps, to maybe run the backups one week, to half pads, whatnot. You got to find your own little cadence on how you want to do it. I will also advise you, if you have a dev game for someone, use the backups for that position so they don't get injured and you don't lose a dev scenario. All right, so that's what you do with your fatigue. The other thing that you mentioned about is scouting. So we had this whole big scouting update. Maybe you remember, we waited for it. But you don't actually scout your individual players now. What happens is you actually select your scouts. You've got 5 scouts. You've got a national scout, southeast, a central, a west, and a northeast, I think it is. Scout, and they each come in tiers. You can have 3 tier 1s, 1 tier 2, 1 tier 3, and those guys will actually scout the players for you. You don't actually ever look at players to select their things. So when you jump into scouting, which I don't think this one, here we go, scout college players. My scouts will go out into the field and they will actually scout the players for me and come back with percentages. You're not actually picking the players anymore. Your scouts will do that for you. And they each have a focus. You'll see here my West Scout is going to focus on wide receivers. My National Scout hopes focus on middle linebackers, and so on and so forth. And then when you actually look at your scouts, here's how you assign them, what they're focused on. Tier 3 is going to give you a bigger percentage of information about the player. Tier 2 gives you a little bit of information, or medium information about the player. Tier 1 doesn't give you nearly much. What I like to do, and I didn't do it in this league because I didn't have the issues, but if you have a position of serious need, I will generally give more than one person the same position. Just my opinion, maybe something you can pick up out of it. But then you can go look at the prospects. And the prospects will actually be scouted for you. You notice on the far right-hand side here, it's going to give a percent completion, and where they're expected to draft, that will change as we go through. But you'll see some have 20%, some have 22%. It all depends on your scouting. 25, this is probably where my national scout was, who's a tier 3. And you can look at their physicals. Again, all of the grades and everything in the scouting class no longer does, an A score mean a speed of 90 to 100 or whatnot, or a grade for whatever it is. It means how they relate to the draft class. So you may have a guy that is elite and have all A grades, but he's a shitty position in the draft class. So his overall, his ratings might be crap. So you've got to be aware of that as you're looking at it. You'll no longer get specifics about speed until the combine. It'll give you a range from great to elite, decent to solid, etc. And then your skills, they will start coming back with more depending on how much the percentage scouted goes. So as we get closer, your national scout's going to get you a higher percentage. You might get up to 100% and get all of these grades. If you have a lower position or not a position of focus, you won't get very many at all. So there, quick minute there. You have now learned about scouting, and I'm happy to help and add to the league. Now, so let's kind of get back to you and I, Noob. First off, I don't have a problem with you personally. I didn't know about your health issues, whatever those are. Hey, I understand that. Family always comes first, work-life balance. I'm a firm believer that family and your real life comes before Madden. So, if you were dropping time and missing out on things because you were absent and had medical issues, I didn't know about it. So I totally sympathize with that, and that's cool. I take back some of the things that I said. But let's talk about how I got here and why we're having this conversation, right? I mean, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit of fire. So let's start off with how I came into, you guys, you talked about the league being around for 7 or 8 years, and you guys are real big on the history of the league. So maybe we don't know each other, so let's do an introduction, give you a little bit of information about myself. My name is Shane. They call me Freight Train. I've been running my league, Alpha, for 10 or 11 years now. I used to run a website, Madden Sim Leagues. Maybe you've heard of it. Some of your members were members there. We ran about 40 to 45 leagues, PS3, PS4, Xbox leagues. We had 4,500 members, well over 1 million unique visitors every single month. We were the second largest Madden website in the world outside of Operation Sports. We got so big in 2014, 2015, I sold the domain. I had a domain sitter basically noticed that I didn't do anything to generate revenue. They assumed that we were a business and offered me 50 grand for it. So I took it and ran because it was a hobby, right? So I've been around the block. I'm big in the Madden community. I think that leagues that put out content and some leagues are just total shit. Some leagues are really bad. DML is not that league. So first off, I enjoy my time in DML. But why, oh why, are we here? Why are we talking about, me being a rat bastard and shit? Well, let's talk about when I first came into the league. All right. So Bruce decided, he's been reaching out to me for a while. I think this was when I was in Elite, which, by the way, Elite is run like shit. I did not enjoy Elite. So much so I quit and told them that their league is toxic. So you've obviously learned that I don't hold back. I will make myself a part of leagues. I help when I come into a league. And the more we talk in this video, you're going to realize that. You must have missed it, maybe because you're dealing with your health issues or whatnot that I had no idea of knowing about. All right? But let's kind of start about when I first started in the league. So Bruce reached out to me. He said, hey, I'm going to get you into Blueprint. And then Blueprint, they'll move you up to DML. So I joined Blueprint in Group Me. And whoever was running Blueprint at the time did a shit fucking job. I don't know who it was. So if it's somebody that I know, I'm sorry. You did a poor ass fucking job. There were several open teams. You guys are talking about filling teams. I'm like, in the Group Me. Like, guys, I'm on the wait list. Throw me in. No, you guys just let other people switch teams back and forth. Nobody replied to me. So I actually messaged Bruce on Discord. I'm like, Bruce, I'm out. I'm not fucking waiting around. These guys are just going to completely ignore me. You got teams that are open, and you're having people switch teams and not actually fill them. More so, they're just fucking ignoring me. So, screw that. So, you weren't a part of that as far as I know, so I can't hold that against you. But that was my introduction. So then somehow I got the call to get into DML. So I joined DML, took over the Packers, and I enjoyed the shit out of it. I joined the league. I read the rules. I reached out to you. You said, hey, the rules are pretty big. Make sure you get an understanding of them. I said, cool. You linked me to the rules. I read them. I actually reached out to Bruce and a few of the other guys in the league that I was familiar with and said, hey, if I do anything wrong, look at my gameplay. Let me know what I'm missing because I'm a big rule follower. Obviously, I run a sim league with a similar rule set. And I want to make sure I wasn't, crossing lines. So, jumped in, did all that. Actually, reached out to you early and said, hey, I got the Packers. I just took them over. I'm hoping to re-sign some of these guys that won't negotiate. It was late in the year. Previous owner didn't re-sign anybody, and a bunch of them wouldn't negotiate. And there were X Factors and superstars there, and I was like hoping to keep some of them because it was some of the best talent on my league. I had a 99 overall, a 98, a 96. I was like, yeah, I want to keep these guys if I can. So I reached out to you and said, hey, what's up? Can I keep them? You didn't reply. So then I sent you this one. I said, hey, remember, I want to bring this back up again. You said, let me think on it and get back to you. Well, you never got back to me. You just ignored it. You didn't reply to me at all. Not a, hey, you know what? No, it is what it is. Not a, oh, yeah, we can protect one or two guys or nothing. You just didn't answer. Period. So I was a little put off by that, and I actually let some people know. I'm like, hey, dude, they said, hey, reach out to Dion, let him know the scenario. He'll probably let you keep a couple of them. So I did. And just nothing. You completely ignored me. So that was my first experience. Second time, I'm playing the game, following the rules as you linked me to. And I noticed that everybody I'm playing is running +1 defensive back. And I'm matching up. So if they're in 2 wide receivers, I'm in base. If they're 3, I'm in nickel. If they're in 4, I'm going to be in dime or dollar, whatever. But I'm the only one that's matching up defensive backs. Everybody else is doing, I come out in 2 wide receivers, they might be in nickel. I wasn't doing that because the rule said not to do that, and I didn't want to get in trouble. So I reached out to a couple guys, and they said, no, there's this +1 DB rule. And I'm like, well, it's not in the rules. How am I supposed to know that? So I reached out to you because I'm a commissioner, and I saw in the rules hadn't been updated. You still have some things in the rules from like Madden 16 or whatnot that no longer impact the game. But I reached out and said, hey, bro, just a heads up, commish to commish. The rule is in that you linked me to for new people is not the rule that you guys follow. It's different. Just a heads up. You don't reply. You don't get back to me. You don't do anything. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, so I get in the chat and I bring it up and, I'm like, hey, what about these rules? What are some of these secret rules? And I start getting messages from you guys. They start to learn. They've either heard about my league or they're noticing that I'm kind of more vocal in the chat. So I start getting rules or messages from other guys in the league. Hey, a lot of stuff in the league is just who you're cool with. You're not supposed to spam players, but it happens. Nothing gets done. Certain people will get called out, other people's won't. Hey, this top part I don't really like. You come in and puff your chest out when you need to. But more importantly, watch for the rules. Because occasionally, if one of the special guys get in trouble, someone will go edit the rules so that they're okay, right? Again, there was a case, I don't remember what season it was, but Tightwork ran a mid-blitz inside a goal line and brought a linebacker or a safety in front of the linebacker. But it was different because it was in, the goal line, but nobody spelled it out. So again, different rules for different users. I reached out to some other guys, said, hey, what else do I need to know? What other rule changes are out there? I don't know. This guy says, I told Dion. He just didn't even reply. So now I'm seeing a trend that people are going to you and nobody's hearing anything back. Now, this is before I knew that you had health issues or whatnot. But all I know is the commissioner is completely absent. Right? So more and more people start messaging me. Hey, not sure if you picked up on this, but it's one of those rules are rules. Doesn't have to make sense. It's frustrating. People get suspended for 8 seconds instead of 10. I know you're making a fuss, Shane, but you're not wrong. I just don't have the energy to do it up anymore. This one's kind of harsh. I don't really agree with it, but you say, he don't do shit, doesn't talk in chat, doesn't make content. He's the number one commissioner in the world, whatever. But that's what I'm getting as the new guy. Because I'm vocal. And because, I make it known, hey, I'm finding something. Why isn't somebody listening to me? For the first season I had with Green Bay, for high stakes, and for the random season, I asked who does what in the league, because you have an admin structure that I still I just found out. I think it was SJ maybe replied to me, or it was Taz that said, hey, here's who does what. I've asked for this for numerous seasons because I don't know. Because I haven't been around here. So you talk about DML for 7 or 8 seasons. I don't know DML from 4 seasons ago. I don't know DML from 5 seasons ago. I don't know DML from last season. I know DML today. That's my experience, DML today. So the history of DML, I can't speak to because that's not what my experience is. My experience is since I've been here as a new user. So I'm giving you that feedback. And clearly some of the other people are a little bit frustrated too. I'm just the vocal one. All right, so there's that. Now you asked,
if it's such a bad league, why the fuck do you stay here?
Well, if it's a bad league, why the fuck am I here? It's not a bad league. All right, and I enjoy playing my games. I enjoy having battles. I enjoy playing my games. You'll see that I've mentioned that more than once. My problem and my frustration has always been the rules are not clearly the rules. There's other rules, or the rules aren't updated, or if there's an issue, people just don't follow up on it. All right? That's been my issue from day one. But I enjoy the league. I enjoy playing the games. Clearly, as we'll see here in a little bit, I enjoy and I'm trying to ingrain myself in the DML culture. Now, you may not like the fact that I'm vocal and point things out when I think there's an issue, but look, that's just who I am. That's me. Obviously, I started giving you feedback privately and quietly as a way to help, because that's what I do when I'm in leagues, and you didn't reply. You ignored it. So what do you do at that point? right? I'm clearly making an effort to make the league better, and you're not listening at all, or you're ignoring it. Now maybe you thought my opinion was shit. Maybe you disagreed with me, which is fine, because I'm not always going to be right, right? My opinions may be ass sometimes. But if I point something out, you got to reply. You got to be like, no, Shane, that's just the way it is. Sorry. Or, Shane, that's my fault. I didn't update the rule. Let me go do that now. We'll get that fixed. It's I'll have someone else go do it. Whatever. But you got to reply. You're the commissioner. That's who you go to. So that's what I did. So when I get frustrated, it's because you didn't reply. All right. Now, other than that, OG.
What's his name? Freight Train.
Oh, damn, you calling Freight Train a rat bastard, too?
Listen,
Oh,
if you gonna tell, y'all motherfuckers need to watch the first 48. Because if you gonna tell, at least tell the shit right. You ratting on shit that was already ratted on, as we will call it. You went behind Mickey Mouse, which is Marizi, and basically pretty much told some stuff, and you posted it on Twitter like you got up.
So, why did I run to Twitter, right? Well, I'll tell you why I ran to Twitter. So, first off, I think it was the end of my first season or high stakes, somewhere around there. There was free agent re-signings, and then you had to take a picture of it and submit it. You have to do all of the stuff for the free agency stuff. So, what I did was I grabbed my phone, and I took a picture of the screen and posted it, and you guys dropped me some slots in high stakes because I took a picture with my phone and I didn't take an official screenshot with the PlayStation. Despite the fact that it's clear as fucking day with my phone. It's not a blurry picture. It's very, very clear. But because I didn't take a screenshot with the PlayStation, which, fine if that's the rule, and if we're going to be anal about the rule, then you're setting a precedent. So, as we go through this sub-linebacker bullshit, and we're looking for violations, guess what? I take a screenshot with the PlayStation because we've learned, hey, if you want it to be listened to, you've got to take an official screenshot. Now, how do we get the screenshot from the PlayStation to my DM to somebody? Well, I'm going to throw it on Twitter so that I can copy the picture and put it in. It's not me going to Twitter and post. I would rather not post a big fucking stream on Twitter. You think people that follow me on Twitter give a fuck about me taking pictures of roster violations? No! But I got to do it so that I can copy and put it into an email because, if we can't use phone pictures, we got to use official screenshots. So that's what I did. I'm following the precedent that you put forth. Don't get upset because I'm doing what you put forth. Now, why am I doing the sub-linebacker thing? So, this is a rule. Okay, so Noop, you actually put in one of your announcements, don't fucking cry about it. You're a coach, day and night, 24 hours a day, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I respect that. You said we don't change rules in the off-season. Cool, I respect that too. I agree with that. That's a good stance to take because it doesn't punish people this or that. But you know what? We knew about this rule prior to this season. It was talked extensively during the random season. There was a lot of talk about it. We had posts in chat, screenshots, numerous discussions about how the CPU changes it during the random season. Which means we had an off season to make that change because we knew that the game was fucking people. We could change that and just not adhere to it this season. So my league has the same rule. You've got to have a linebacker in your sub-linebacker. But you know what? I know that the game's changing it on people after they play. So I don't enforce that rule. Because I know that while they're playing the game, they may be following the rule, but when they're not playing their actual game, and it's either in advance, they had an injury during the game, injury in practice, and they didn't check the depth chart. If they have an injury in practice and they didn't check the depth chart before they started the game, that's their fault, and they should be punished. But if they had an injury during the game and it changed it immediately as upon returning back to the menu, I'm not gonna blame them for that. Or if they fixed it then. Let's say they got an injury during the game, it changed it, they get out of the game, they fixed it, so they're actually in compliance, and then I advance the league, or you advance to the league. What happens at advance? Well, all of a sudden, the CPU makes roster changes, and now they're out of compliance. Not during a game that they played, just randomly. And we're going to punish them for that? So that I don't agree with. Because we knew about it before. If we had just found out about it, I'd be all on board. You'd never hear me complain. But we knew about this during the random season. We just didn't address it. Even though we talked about addressing it. So, I don't... You should expect a little bit of flack from that, right? Because we knew about it. So, I was very vocal about it. And there were other people with me. I wasn't the only one talking about it. It was a huge, long discussion between a lot of your users. But we ignored it. I don't know why. So there's that. OG, you said...
You can't talk shit on the league that you're not willing to help put no work in.
That's, I agree with that 100%. 100%. I agree. You know what? Say it for the people in the back. Play it again.
You can't talk shit on the league that you're not willing to help put no work in.
I totally agree. If you guys see this? That. Oh, yeah. What's up, fellas? It's your boy, Freight Train. What's going on, Dynasty? Just completed my first full season here in the league. And I got to tell you, I had a good time. I enjoyed playing everybody in the league. This is something that I do up in my league. You know, at the end of the season. I did make a video. I gave away 25 awards at the end of my first season here. Chances are you want one of them. I did two. Hey, what's up, H-Blow? It's a response to H-Blow. I produced some more content to help the league. What is it? That's your punch? You get your ass kicked a bunch as a kid? I don't. It's called high stakes. And that's our next stop today. High stakes. So what is high stakes? What are the rules? What are the penalties? What are the inconsistencies that I see here in the rules? And we'll take a look at some game film from my week one game, and we'll do this kind of every advance so that we can kind of keep track of my progress. So we're kind of start off with the rules. So what are the rules of high stakes? First, that's 3 pieces of content. There's actually another one where I was responding back to, I think it was Bino and Schemer that did a breakdown of games, and I think it was out on a game that I was going to play Noop, and they said that Noop was going to come back angry, and I just didn't bring it up because it was Noop, and it seems like there's some static here, which there's no static. I don't take any what you say personal, Noop. There's nothing online that I'm ever going to take personal. I am who I am, though. So, you know, whatever. So look, OG, I'm contributing to the league. Matter of fact, if I look through the user list, I think I'm going to find a lot of people that aren't doing anywhere near the content that I am. Matter of fact, this piece here is probably, you know what, trumps, 25 other people in the league? So, let's kind of think about that for a little bit, all right? I'm giving feedback about rules. I'm giving feedback about inconsistencies. And I'm being completely not listened to, not replied to, just completely ignored. And I'm creating content for the league. And yet, y'all want to call me a rat bastard like I'm not doing anything for the league? It would appear that I'm trying to do things good for the league. Because I like this league. I've heard enough about the old DML. I've heard enough about it. I want to see it. And I'm seeing it more this season. You know, there's more content, more engagement. The sub linebacker thing is fucked up, but whatever. I'm enjoying the shit out of the league. All right, so that's why I'm here. I'm playing my games. I schedule early. I play my games as soon as possible, except with HBO, because I reach out to that motherfucker and he doesn't respond for 24 hours, and I'm not going to chase his ass. All right. If you got a problem scheduling, then you need to be scheduling early and say, hey, text me. Don't wait 24 hours to look where I tagged you. That's on you, HBO. I'm just not going to chase someone that's going to throw 50 times to his fucking wide receiver or fucking halfback. I'm just not going to do it. All right, Noop. One of the things that, and I say this in my league and I say it in every league, family comes first. So when you say shit like,
look here, motherfucker, this league has been around for 8 years.
Is it playing?
We done went through a pandemic. We was advancing 24 hours, damn near a day. I got burned the fuck out. Plus, we had other shit going on, and when the pandemic first started, we still doing shows constantly. But at some point, you get tired, get burned out. Plus, I had real life on me at that time. So yeah, I kind of started fucking slipping on the league. But that happens. We fucking advancing every 24 hours.
It does happen, and I know because I run a league that advances early, pretty much every advance, with the exception of this one. My playoffs are taking longer than I would really like, but that's all right. We're giving expert time to run and do his basketball tournament. So I get it. I get the being burned out. But when you come at a new user that's contributing to the league, trying to help clarify rules and understand things, just because I'm new and you just want to ignore me, that's a bad look for the future of Dynasty. Because you're always going to have new users. And not all of your new users are going to come in and create content like I do. They're not all going to be as active in the league as I am. They're all not going to be trying to do things to better the league as I am. So when I said it was a poorly run league, I meant it. Because that was my experience. Because the administrative staff of this league either ignored things that they knew were fixed that needed to be fixed, didn't reply to shit because I was new, and didn't apply the same rule set to everybody. And when people come to you, you didn't reply. So let's clean the slate. Pretend that none of that shit ever happened. I'm going to continue making content. Matter of fact, we should have a Monday Night Mayhem. I do Tuesday night trash talk in my league. We should do the same thing in here. We use the voice channel. People can get on, talk shit. Live show. Flair wanted to be a part of it, but we'll see what happens. I don't know Flair about that much, but everyone seems to tell me that Flair's going to commit to something and not show up. So, sorry, Flair. I'm going to run this solo. As far as me posting those things to Twitter, yeah, you guys had already suspended most of them, except for one. You guys overlooked it. One of the people that I posted for you were the Chargers. God damn these fucking allergies. One of the people I posted were the Chargers. Not suspended, but I posted it for you. He's got a superstar at sub linebacker. So, hey, trying to help you enforce these rules that you've got. Even though right now this season we shouldn't be enforcing them. So, your move. Do what you will with the Chargers. Will I continue to do it? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. If we're going to spot check, then why not? We don't have any clear guidance on how you guys are enforcing it when you're looking. So nobody can know when they've got to make sure things are fixed, because things that happen in the league change what you've already fixed, like we talked about. You know, if you fix it before a game and play the game with it fixed, and then it changes outside the game, well, you didn't really break the rule, did you? Or if we're going to treat that as it, then we need to make sure we're giving people time to jump on and fix it before it's spot checked. Otherwise, at an advance, it's going to automatically fuck people. And I'm just telling you now. Again. So, look, I got nothing personal against you, Noop. Hopefully, this kind of clears some air. I know you don't like that I'm vocal about it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's who I am. I tried coming to you personally. You don't respond. I'll try it again. You know. And we'll do Trash Talk, or not Trash Talk Tuesday. We're going to do Monday Night Mayhem. More content for the league. It's going to be a weekly call-in show live. You can get on. We can go back and forth if you want. Mano y mano. Look, I'm not afraid to say something to somebody's face. I got broad shoulders, man. I can take it. So call me rat bastard, whatever. Just realize that everything that I've done has been trying to contribute to the league. Try to better the league because I want the old DML experience. I want the experience from 5 seasons ago. I want the experience that everybody keeps talking about, that you mentioned you were burned out and let some things go. So let's see it. There it is. By the way, these Buffalo Bills are killing it. Killing it. So whoever said 8 wins. 8 fucking wins. Super Bowl, baby. I'm out.